Hello and good afternoon from my Stampin' studio. I'm Mary Knabe. I'm happy to have you here today. It is Tuesday, September 15th, and I'm excited to show you what I call the ink to block technique. It's super easy, it's fun to do. Anybody, everybody can do it, and it can even give you one-of-a-kind results, making every card different, even though you use the same process throughout. Before I get to the demonstration though, I want to let you know, if you have not seen my email newsletter today, or have not seen the post here at Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe, tomorrow, September 18th only, is a 24-hour free shipping day from Stampin' Up. So if you place an order of $75 or more, Stampin' Up is going to give you free standard shipping. And we know the minimum shipping is $7.95, right? For a $75 order, and then it goes up from there. So it's a great way to save. I have been preparing a class to go kit, and it's the biggest class I've ever sold. Nearly 50 kits going out. And as I was preparing this, I thought, oh, I better stock up on basic white envelopes again. And that was yesterday. And lo and behold, then I found out there's going to be a free shipping day. So that's what I'll be purchasing tomorrow and getting free shipping with that. And that is for demonstrators, customers, everybody. Anybody with an order of $75 or more before shipping and tax. Great news, right? We all like free shipping. I missed you last week. I had a great week with lots of crafty friends. I went to Oak Harbor, Ohio, which is right near Lake Erie, for a craft retreat hosted by Julie Heights. And there were 25 of us there, and I made 2 quilt tops and worked on some of Stampin' Up's new scrapbooking kits. And then I came back for just to my house for a few hours because I live right in the middle of Ohio. And then I drove south to Cincinnati for a craft retreat with a few friends. There were 6 of us there. So lots of fun, lots of laughs, lots of ideas exchanged, and just a really good time for me to recharge and get out and have some fun and relax a little bit. But I did miss you. So let's get started today, or right now. Let's get started right now on today's demonstration. I think you're going to love it. While I'm switching my camera around, please share this live video and invite others to join us. You can even tag them in the comments. Make sure this is lined up well so you can see the demonstration easily. All right. For this demonstration, I have pre-cut some, let me grab them here. I have pre-cut some basic white cardstock, and this measures 4 3/4 by 3.5 inches, okay? 4 3/4 by 3.5 inches. Really, when you see the technique, you can make this any size you want. And you don't necessarily have to use the same block that I'm using, okay? You can choose the block that fits your style of card or the stamp set that you'll be using later. So I decided that I wanted to make some fall cards, and I'm actually using the Spotlight on Nature stamp set and this leaf image, okay? So I chose some fall colors, And basically for this technique, 2, maybe 3, what do I want to say? Ink pads work for this, okay? I should have done my lighter one first, but that's okay. And it is okay if the inks touch a little bit, you just don't want to go over them to where you're contaminating your ink pads, okay? I've chosen to use Cajun Craze and Daffodil Delight. Now I'm going to use a spritzer that I filled with water, just regular tap water, and I'm going to spritz this block. So you'll definitely want to have some, your block on some scrap paper. You might want to have some paper towels nearby. And then I'm ready to stamp this onto my cardstock. Now this is going to act as my stamp, okay? And when I do this, if some of the ink splatters around to the rest of the cardstock, it really is okay, all right? You can see some blending there, not a whole lot, which that tells me maybe I should do some more spritzing, okay? So I did that intentionally because I wanted you to show, you this. But do you see in here how I've got some blending of colors? So let's try again. And I'm going to ink up with my Daffodil Delight and then go over the other side with Cajun Craze. And now I'm going to spritz, spritz, spritz more than I did before. And I might even do some at an angle, get some of that ink moving a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to treat this as a stamp. Ooh, this one's really juicy. Okay. If it's that juicy like this, now I like how it blended so much more. I should have had a little more blending right here at the end. Okay. And I might even just go over that. I can spritz it like this. And just tap my block now to that spot and have it fill in a little bit like that, okay? And I am using just regular white cardstock. You can use thick white, which works very well. You get a little bit of a different using watercolor paper because there is a texture to watercolor paper, but it can turn out really, really cool. Now here, in addition to having it blended more by doing more spritzing and moving that block back and forth so the ink would kind of flow across the block, notice that there is a little bit of splatter. And that's okay. That's okay. So let's try it again. And this time I'm going to use a couple different colors. Instead of Daffodil Delight and Cajun Craze, I'm going to use some, well, let me put the other color on first. And this is a color combination I haven't tried, but I got to thinking about it and I thought, ooh, I need to try this. So I'm using Wild Wheat, okay, which kind of has a greenish yellow hue to it. And with it, I'm going to put, well, this is Old Olive. Should I do Old Olive or I'm going to use Old Olive. That's what I had out first. Because then I started thinking maybe I could use Mossy Meadow. Actually, either one would probably turn out fabulously. Get it really inked up or by giving it lots of spritzes of water. Kind of turn that block different ways. And sometimes you do get bubbles. That's okay. That's just part of the look of it being something unique. And let's see how this did. Didn't quite get the end there. Let me see if I can. Okay, but that's all right. So you can see how the green, old olive green blended with the wild wheat, making it even a darker color. It even looks like a little bit like mossy meadow, don't you think? A little deeper than old olive, but maybe not quite as deep as mossy meadow. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll put some cards together using these. So for this one, I'm going to use, let me just wipe this off. And I should say that I started with a 100% clean block. And I'm going to give you a tip here. In an event that I participated in, a virtual event that I participated in quite some time ago, Sharon Armstrong from Texas was one of the demonstrators hosting the event. And everybody was sharing different tips. And one tip that she shared with us was that if you're using multi-purpose glue and your hands are getting all sticky and tacky, put a little hand sanitizer on your fingers, rub it together, and then wipe it off with a paper towel. Comes right off. So I started thinking my block was kind of sticky where I had maybe gotten some adhesive and glue. So I just put some drops of hand sanitizer on here and wiped it clean with my paper towel. So that's a tip I'm passing on to you today. All right, so that's good and clean. And I'm going to use Cajun Craze and Old Olive. And then I'm going to spritz, spritz, spritz. Ooh, and some of that spritzing made some of the ink blow over on my cardstock. If you don't want that to happen, keep your cardstock away. I kind of think it's interesting if it does happen. So here that ink is running all over. And I'm going to go just like this. Okay, now something I want you to notice here is, look at the end of this one. Oops, shoot. Hold on. I'm getting ink everywhere. Okay, so on this one too, the ink didn't really blend there. It ended up kind of spotty. Do you know what I did differently on this one so that would not happen? Did anybody catch that? What I did differently is when I was putting the inked block to my cardstock, I extended beyond the edge of the cardstock. I extended the block beyond the edge of the cardstock, whereas those others I was putting right down, just like that. Okay, now it's time for us to make a few cards. This one isn't quite dry. I am going to use my paper towel and just gently tap in those areas where I see a puddle. That will make it dry faster. I'm going to remove the damp parts. I'm going to put this here. Now, another tip when you're doing this, and I don't think this is plugged in. Oh, it is. If you want to speed up the drying, you can just get out your heat tool and heat it up. And keep in mind, because we are adding water to this paper, it will tend to bend a little bit. It won't be awful or anything like that. But you can see how this just speeds it up. And you might get, like I said, a little bend or curl to your cardstock. And that is okay because you're going to apply adhesive. This one looks pretty dry. I'll go over it just in case. Okay, So now I'm just going to make a very easy card layout. Give me a second to close up all of these ink pads before it ends in disaster, or I end with inkier fingers than I already have today. And I decided I'm going to use early espresso. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp really well. Again, the stamp is from Spotlight on Nature. And I'm going to start with the first one. And I'm just going to stamp it here off to the left side, like that. And then I'm going to do the other one, same thing, just stamping it towards the left side, going right over that watercolor. Alrighty, set that aside. And now we can put our card together. So I've cut out some early espresso. It's the same as the ink I used for the leaf stamp. Okay, so that's where I pulled in the color. And after we make these cards, I'll show you another sample of the same technique using different colors and a different stamp set. So you can see that once you learn this technique, it's highly versatile. It works so well with so many stamp sets. So I'll be interested to see how you use this technique and what stamp sets you pair it with and what colors you use. Okay, want to make sure that's dry so I'm not getting ink on my cards. And today I'm using basic white thick cardstock for my card bases. If you don't have a bone folder, I highly suggest, oops, that one wasn't cut right, was it? Something's not cut right here. Let me look. It's the early espresso cut a little short. Well, let me get a different one. I'm glad I cut several. That one's short too. Okay. Okay, folks, this is not good. There. So I cut 2 sets of 3, and obviously that one I cut about an 1/8 inch short. Not good. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm using basic white thick cardstock for my card bases, and I love using a bone folder to give those card bases a really good crease, okay? Scoring your cardstock first and then going over it with the bone folder really helps to give it a nice crease without any crinkles or unevenness. And then I'm just going to adhere these to the center of my card fronts. You can see too that I'm using very limited supplies. We don't always have to have all of the stuff. And you know what I mean by all the stuff, right? The dies, the ribbons, the embellishments, on and on and on, right? There's just so much. And there's nothing wrong with all those things, but this is a good reminder to us that simple cards can be just as wonderful as fancier cards or cards with more layers and embellishments and all the stuff, I'll say. These are also cards that are fun for beginners as well as experienced stampers because it teaches us a technique, right? Okay, now let's add some embellishments. I think, not sure what you think or how you would use these cards, but I think these would make nice sympathy cards. So I'm going to, I've got With Sympathy here, and this one comes from the Unbounded Love stamp set. And the Unbounded Love stamp set has all of these wonderful dies that coordinate with all of those wonderful sentiments. So it's great for mixing and matching. And one thing I like to do when I'm choosing which sentiment or which die or punch I want to use, just put your stamp right over it. Where does it fit? This one's too small. The next one's a little too big. Too small, but the next one would work. The oval would work. Okay, so I just kind of play around like that. And I think I'm going to use this one. Okay. So I'll reach in here. And because this is a photopolymer set, and for the sake of time, I'm just going to die cut my pieces first and then stamp in them. If I was using a red rubber stamp, or what we call a cling stamp, I would certainly stamp first and then center that sentiment in the die and then die cut it, okay? Vicki, I'm glad you like them. Doris, I agree. The Unbounded Love dies, it's a great stamp set, but the dies, oh, they're fabulous. And you can use them over and over with so many other stamp sets we have. Some of them would even be great for images. So don't think just that we have to put just our sentiments in those dies. Julie, I'm glad you like that little border. It really makes the rest of, let me do that one again, because it looks like it shifted on me a little bit. But I agree with that little bit of border, what I'm showing with the ink technique and the simple stamping, that really pops now, really shows it off. And I'm not sure why this just popped into my head. Maybe because I saw Julie Heitz's name pop up, and she's the one who hosted the retreat in Oak Harbor. And she is a woman of many talents. If you like quilt cards, Julie is your gal. And her business is, oh, help me out here, Julie, Chirpy Doodle cards and more. If you put in Chirpy Doodle, you'll find her, okay? But she shared one of her other talents with us at the retreat, and that was making paper beads. It is the coolest thing. I had so much fun, made a bunch of beads, so I'll have to get something to put them on, maybe make a bracelet or something. But wow, I just loved it. So that was something fun that I did and had never done before. So I love it that not only did I get away to do fun things I already enjoy, I learned something else. Okay, so now I've got my With Sympathy stamp. Card maker, Chirpy Doodle card maker, thank you. But yes, I just had a ball. Oh, and then I got some of her earrings. She used to sell them at craft shows and such, and she had some left over, and I could get them by making a donation to her local animal shelter. So I'll try to remember to wear a pair of those earrings. I got, actually got two that I really like. And So I'll try to remember to put those on before the next Facebook Live. I love how this splatter right here, you can actually see the red, the orange, the brown from that Cajun craze. And then one more. So do you see what I mean when I said if you get some splatters or drips, it really doesn't matter. It adds to the effect. Okay, I probably would not go any larger with my label just because I don't want to take away too much from this. I probably wouldn't do something with a big circle because it also would take away from the majority of what I've done with the technique, right? But we have lots and lots and lots of small sentiments with all kinds of sayings that would work also. In fact, we have a lot of those skinny sentiments, right? Okay, do you think we need a little something extra? Do you think we need some embellishment? Let me see what I can pull from my stash. This is getting a little, ooh, those are a possibility, but I think I know what I want to use. Let me find it here. If I have any more. Ooh, these would work too. That's not what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. Really, the only dimension on this card comes from elevating the sentiment with dimensionals. I like the gold with that. So what do you think? Would you do, Okay, this looks kind of cool with the Cajun craze, I have to say. This color. This is a rose gold. This is more orangey, I think. So I guess we don't have to. The flow glass dots would be nice too. You're right, Marilyn. Marilyn was at that retreat, so it was fun seeing her and getting to know her better. Vesta is on, I believe. She was there as well. So I met her and her daughter. Now, really, do you see what I mean? I don't love these on this card, but I like it with the other two. So let me put my embellishment on the first two, and then we'll move to that one. And I'm just going to go one large and two small. Let's see how that does. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Whoops. Okay, so I have that. Aren't the fall colors nice? I don't know about you, where you live, but here in Ohio, it has been very hot. We had about 1 week of fall-like temperatures, and of course, we all knew we would get some massive heat again, and we have the last week and this week. And we desperately need rain. Some parts of the country are getting too much rain, and we're desperate for it here. But anyways, lots of people are looking forward to fall and already have started putting fall decorations out in their yards and their homes. And I guess sometimes football season brings that fall feeling too. I think I'm going to add a little bit more here, just for something different than the other two. Okay, so there are my 3 cards. What do you think? Is this a technique you will give a try to? And remember how we tried out different color combinations? So I used Daffodil Delight and Cajun Craze and Old Olive. This was Wild Wheat with Old Olive. So as you're doing this, you know, maybe pick some colors, some of your favorites, or maybe a color combination that you like, 2 colors that go together, and just give it a try. You can even use some scraps of basic white as you're trying these out before you actually make cards with them, okay? I am going to be giving these cards away. If you would like to have your name entered into the drawing to receive one of these cards, type in the comments now, ink to block, ink, I-N-K, to T-O, block, B-L-O-C-K, okay? And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you another set I made. Okay, these cards were made with stamps from the Thoughtful Wishes set. And the 2 colors I used were Petunia Pop and Peach Pie. The ink for the images as well as the color of the mat are both basic black. Okay, so you can see totally different cards have a totally different look because I chose different stamps and different colors to use. All right, so really, when you think about it, the possibilities are endless, right? Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration. It's always fun to use, find new ways to use our products and to learn some new techniques and maybe some simple, easy to make card layouts that you can use repeatedly. So it was fun having you today. I'm so glad you're here, and I will see you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And a final reminder that tomorrow, Wednesday, September 18th, Stampin' Up! Has free shipping on orders of $75 or more. That's $75 before shipping and tax, all right? So free shipping, gotta love it. I can't wait. I'll be stocking up on basic white envelopes. Have a great evening. I'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.